Welcome to Nothing Success. I'm Dr. Marie Morse. Thanks for coming back, and I am so proud of you. Your ongoing commitment to you pursuing the best version of who you are, that's why we're all here. We definitely want to continue our work in motion. Now, with that stated, we've already covered a lot of really cool things. We've gone through some self-discovery. We've talked about what is our personal growth and goal development. And then we took a bite out of diet and nutrition. Today, we're going to dig into exercise and how we can utilize getting on the move as a method of achieving the best version of who we are. And so if you're a person who are like, I already hit the gym, or this isn't relevant to me, well, I guarantee you there may be other things that you haven't been thinking about, which is, how is the exercise that you're participating in, is it actually helping you achieve the best version of who you are? Are you only weight training and neglecting your flexibility and stretching? Because balance and flexibility have clearly been demonstrated to be critical to ongoing health and wellness, and have even been shown to be a potential sign of someone who may have a longer duration of life. So maybe you want to think that gym routine over again. Or maybe perhaps when you were looking at your pillars of wellness, one of the things that was really screaming out was about your emotional, creativity, mental health. And maybe that's an area of struggle. We recognize in the United States that this is an area that is only on a rate of rise, of people struggling with things like depression, anxiety, and even feelings of suicidality and self-harm. Well, one of the things I want you to have news about is, of course, I'm going to tell you sleep is critical in terms of that, but so is your movement. This is providing you the natural, endogenous, meaning self-made hormones that are only going to promote that mental well-being. It's going to drive those creativity juices and really get you feeling your incredible form of who you want to be. So although we're talking about exercise and the knee-jerk reaction is thinking about how it's going to benefit our bodies physically, it really is going to impact across all of these other areas. You may even see that there's downstream impacts on your finances. Why? Maybe you now have the energy to be able to produce more at work, and that leads to a promotion and a raise. Perhaps it leads to you ordering out less because you have the energy and you don't want to now invest money into that fast food or that quick fix. So let's talk about what you can do and why you may want to get on the move. First and foremost, what are your gains? We just went over all these different things that may be reasons as to why you want to dig into exercise and getting your optimal version of yourself from a physical perspective. Well, you may be thinking about, is it weight loss, toning, muscle growth, feeling better physically? Or maybe there's a specific medical condition that your doctor shared getting moving may be beneficial for. Maybe it's a new heart condition. Maybe it's osteoporosis. Maybe it's joint pain or back pain. Getting on the move can be something that is incredibly beneficial. For myself, who's a 40-year-old woman who is getting closer to the experience of menopause, this is something that I have to pay attention to. Why? Because our bodies are changing every single day. And I constantly feel like, what am I doing to keep it all together? And I know that there probably are other men and women who are watching this or listening to this who are experiencing that same thing. What happened to 20-year-old me? And if you are 20-year-old me, I'm jealous. No, I'm not. I really am enjoying where I am right now. But the 20-year-old version of who I am also needed to double down. So when we're looking at this, it's important to know that when we are contributing in our exercise routines, it's not just about reshaping our bodies. It also is going to drive a calorie deficit. So potentially creating that ability to lose weight if you wanted to. It also is going to help us to build bone. Being able to do some of these exercises may help prevent and ward off things like osteoporosis. We know that many times we're not getting the right sun exposure, which is decreasing our vitamin D, which is putting our bones at risk. So again, we talked about diet and nutrition. Vitamin D supplementation may be something that you and your doctor may need to discuss. But getting on the move and challenging your bones to be able to have that appropriate bone growth may help you later on be able to battle against some of those brittle bone issues. And then finally, it may also provide you great cardiorespiratory function improvements. We recognize heart health is incredibly important and one of the major drivers of death in the United States. And so doing things like being on the move is only going to keep our ticker ticking a little bit longer. So what else do you need for further confidence or conviction that you want to be getting off the couch or listening to this while you're on a treadmill or doing some weight training? Well, between the ages of 30 and 50, we start to lose between 3 and 8% of our muscle mass. But it doesn't stop there. It gets worse. Yes, when we are now hitting 50, every decade, we start to lose between 5 and 10% of our muscle mass. For us women, postmenopausally, and men also, when they're experiencing changes in their hormone production, this also is going to contribute negatively to muscle mass. We see this very frequently as to why some people will do testosterone supplementation for means of being able to have a better bulk. And so when we're losing it, there are ways that are in your control to help maintain it. So although I'm giving you these statistics about what we may lose, what can we do to keep from gaining in the wrong way? So in a pretty short study, only 33 years long, what it had demonstrated is that men who participated in at least 150 minutes a week of exercise had half the weight gain of men who were less active. For us women, the same study demonstrated it was a third of the weight gain. And so this becomes really important because the battle with the scale is real and sometimes unrecognized. When you look at the statistics in the United States right now, 75% of US adults are overweight to obese. And the statistics are just as staggering in our children, with more than 50% of our children and adolescents being overweight to obese. When looking at these statistics, it's not a matter of people not having effort, because there also is data demonstrating that more than 50% of individuals have attempted to lose weight. What we're doing now together is we are committing to a path forward on how we can make this not only achievable, but also sustainable. So what can we do? First and foremost, let's get moving. Start little. Don't think that you have to get off the couch today and run a marathon tomorrow. That is not only impractical, it is potentially harmful and can be really detrimental. So what do I mean by starting little? Just get moving. So there are things that you can do, like every 30, 60 minutes, getting up for 2 minutes, 120 seconds, and walk around. Do this multiple times throughout the day. This is going to start to accumulate. In fact, there are current consumer wearables that take advantage of this exact strategy. Do you wear a Fitbit or Apple Watch and it does that annoying little buzz and tells you you've been sitting for too long? Well, there's a reason behind that. It's trying to get you on the move. And so if you're a person who needs that encouragement, that might be something that you need to invest in. If you don't like wearing wrist-worn devices, like I don't, potentially take your cell phone, get an app, or maybe you're just putting in an alarm and it's reminding you that every hour for you to get on the move and do something. I had a friend who encouraged me by a pattern of activity that they did. It wasn't for physical movement, it was actually for self-reflection. They had an alarm where it would go off 3 times a day for them to be purposeful in reflection and taking those moments for themselves. You can use these strategies and apply them for multiple wins when you're reflecting on what is it in terms of your pillars of wellness that you're going after. Again, we're leaning into that self-awareness. We're recognizing what it is that we can self-manage to produce the best version of who we are. So what is it that you can do right now to start taking those steps to success? Well, first and foremost, we need to think about designing an exercise program. So things you need to consider are the goals. So what kind of goals do you have in mind? Is it weight loss? Is it toning? Is it putting on muscle bulk? Those are all going to be influential in the type of design of your program. If you're trying to bulk up, spending hours upon hours on a treadmill may not be the right strategy. You're going to be experiencing a caloric deficit that isn't necessarily going to contribute to the bulk that you're going after. And the same thing may be true of that if you're trying to tone or lose weight. Going super heavy at the gym may get on the bulk, but maybe not in the distribution that you want. So those can be things that are really important. The next is making sure you're personalizing this, not only to the goal that you have, but what are your likes and dislikes? Now, I hear all the time about this phenomena of a runner's high. And I say this with this belief because I have yet to see a runner who looks happy. And if you are one of those runners, please send those pictures in. I need to see them. I need to have my conviction changed that people are actually happy with their running. And of course, I am not criticizing running, although there may be more joint-sensitive exercises to engage with. But for myself, I know that I have yet to ever experience this runner's high, and therefore that is not going to be an exercise that I'm going to willfully participate in nor adhere to. So instead, if I'm going to do some sort of aerobic activity, it's going to need to be something that either is matched to my weight training or is going to be something that I find enjoyment from. So it might be the elliptical, it might be rowing, and every once in a while, maybe the stepper as well. However, it's going to be something that I need to be able to stick with. Otherwise, I might as well give up from the beginning. Other things you need to think about is variety. In terms of your likes and dislikes, you may love something, but you're not going to love it every day. You may love vanilla ice cream, but if vanilla ice cream was the only thing you were ever able to eat, you get tired of that pretty quickly. The same thing goes true when you're talking about your exercise programs. So in order to thwart off the boredom, make sure you're keeping it varied. However, that boredom isn't just psychological boredom. Your muscles get bored as well if you keep doing the same thing. In addition to boredom, you risk the actual potential for strain of those muscles from overuse and an imbalance. Everything is about striking the right balance. So when we're looking at this, you want to also make sure you're building out an exercise program that is built with progression, starting small and what is achievable and adding on. One of the things I love about my commitment that I created in 2022 is seeing the gains that I have made to this point. Recognizing that on day one, I struggled with doing 5-pound dumbbell curls and now successfully do 15 pounds. Being able to see that progression and saying that I have gained strength and change in my body has only led to further fulfillment, again, thinking about Maslow's, but also reinvesting my dedication to continuing on this journey because I'm loving seeing the progress that I make. Allow for that to be fuel for why you want to continue moving forward. However, you also want to make sure that you're giving yourself adequate time to recover. Although I love to exercise pretty much every day, I have to keep it varied to allow my other parts of my body to recover. I can't do biceps every single day. I can't do back every single day. I can't do legs every single day. Even though I may identify specific areas of my quote unquote problem areas or my areas that I would love to see the biggest change in, by overtraining those areas, I'm only going to actually hurt my wins instead of facilitate more. So it's important to make sure you're giving yourself that adequate recovery. Make sure you're giving yourself exposure to all these areas. One of the things that I learned about myself is I was totally into weight training, loving all those gains, but realized that it came at the expense of my flexibility and balance. I started doing some exercises to help in facilitating that and realizing how imbalanced my left to right side was because I favored my dominant side, my right side. By incorporating some of these balance techniques and flexibility techniques, it actually has only contributed to more gains in my weight training. Again, it's about striking that balance. Now, if you're sitting there and you're going, I'm at a complete loss, I don't even know where to start. You're talking about exercise planning. I don't even know what exercises there are. And walking into a gym is just completely daunting to me. Well, news for you is that you don't necessarily have to go into a gym. There are a variety of different specialists who may be able to help in facilitating your journey, even just from the comfort of your own home, utilizing things that may already exist in your house, and potentially even just using your own body weight. That can be enough resistance for you to start and even continue with. So who are these special people that we should be engaging and celebrating and helping us direct our journey? Well, first, if you're a person who has specific medical needs, making sure you're first having a conversation with your doctor or your specialist. However, you may also benefit from seeing someone who is a rehab specialist, such as a physical therapist, to be able to help in looking at specific nuances that may be personalized to your particular needs. Did you have back surgery or did you have a knee replacement? I don't want you to just blindly go into doing something where you risk re-injuring and potentially needing further interventions. That's a major setback in terms of your ability to get to where you want to be. If you're past that or don't have those particular needs, other things you can look at are exercise physiologists and physical trainers or personal trainers. These people may be distinct entities or they may be one and the same. So not all personal trainers are exercise physiologists and not all exercise physiologists are personal trainers. However, these are individuals who are going to be able to help personalize what type of strategies in your exercise plan are going to help you get to your goals. If you're going, well, I'm in the middle of nowhere and those types of specialists don't exist. Well, first of all, they probably do, and you can potentially Google them right in your own backyard. However, let's say that that's a true phenomenon and they don't exist. What's great news is that the internet and cell phone apps or iPad apps can help in filling that gap. You're able to potentially go online and find applications as well as coaches and fitness trainers who can be able to partner with you today in being able to help you achieve all of those physical goals that may be relevant. One of the things that's important is making sure that you're incorporating your progress map and measures of progress in order for you to be able to be adherent to your program. Again, remembering that in our nutrition and diet, we talked about an accountability structure. Accountability is going to allow for you to have those check-ins with yourself and maybe whoever it is that you confide in to keep you moving and getting in the right direction. This in complement with all of the people who are going to be telling you nice things about how your energy, your mood, and your physique has changed are going to help to facilitate you continuing on this journey. Remember, we're all in this together. We have committed to this journey to the best version of who we can be. I look forward to celebrating, and I want to see those pictures of where you are in your journey and all of the progress that you have made. We need that in order to inspire one another and to continue forward. Make sure that you're not missing out next time. We're going to start moving towards how we are impacting the relationships in our lives. It is important for us to think about not only our self-awareness and self-management, but start moving into the social component, remembering that that is a pillar of wellness, but it also is a part of some of our basic needs. Remember that belongingness? When we are starting to examine our relationships, we're going to dig into that consideration of social awareness and social management and how we can be a part of a whole team that supports us getting to where we want to be and having that circle around us who celebrates the new version of who we want to be.
As you hold on to that dream, there are moments when you're going to doubt yourself. There are rough times are going to come, but they have not come to stay. They have come to pass.